So welcome back to the Friday vlog series, where today we're going to split the video into my favourite number of parts, being two. Part number one, I wanted to share with you a little story and review of a set of carbon wheels I have on the BMC Teammachine. And part number two, I want to share with you what's been going on behind the scenes, including a bike frame that I've purchased from China that came in a box that has been completely mistreated, as you can see from the footprints on the box, which is pretty rotten if you ask me, but more on that later, because first up, I wanted to share with you a little bit of background on how these Caden wheels ended up on the BMC Teammachine. I will be reviewing the wheels as well, and I wanted to share a little bit about this brand, what's behind Caden wheels, because I've heard a lot about this brand before, but I've never really investigated until now. Reason being, I recently reviewed the Cannondale System 6 and the Super 6, thanks to my friends at the Australian Cycling Academy, and when I first published a video about how I ended up with both bikes, providing a first impressions on the Super 6, I had a ton of comments below the video about the Caden or Decadence wheels on the Cannondales. Now, interestingly, since I've had the channel, so over about 2.5 years, I've had heaps of people, I'd say at least 10, independently reach out to me and ask me if I can review these wheels. So with all this noise coming my way and having the opportunity to ride Caden wheels on the Cannondales, I thought now was the time to lean in and to add further credentials to the Caden case. Dave Manton, who is the head mechanic for the ACA Pro Racing Sunshine Coast team, raved about the wheels after dealing with a previous supplier where the team experienced a number of issues with cracks and blowouts and all sorts of stuff. He said the Caden wheels have been a godsend to the team. So I hit up Ben, who is the owner of Caden wheels, and said, I've got a ton of requests for a review on the wheels. Any interest in sending me some? He said, absolutely. So here we are, not sponsored, no special links below. This is just an organic sequence of events that has landed these Caden carbon wheels on the BMC Teammachine. And there are 5 things that I wanted to share with you about these wheels that I've identified through my experiences. Number one is the Caden wheels rival the stiffest, fastest, most solid carbon wheels I have ever ridden. Pretty basic stuff, right? We're going to get into more detail, so don't worry about it. So stiff, fast, and solid should be a prerequisite for all carbon wheels, but I feel like many carbon wheels fall down in the solid category. See, I previously had a pair of either the first or second generation MV 3.4 clinchers. This was when MV was an up-and-coming brand passionate about wheel building before they got bought by private equity. And the thing about the early gen MV wheels is they just felt really solid, almost bulletproof. And that same feeling or experience of solidness was the same experience that I noted when riding the Caden wheels. So out of the gate, before I'd done any research or looked into the wheels in detail, I was really impressed. Number two is the feedback I'd heard on these wheels was always positive, not only from the Australian Cycling Academy team, Pro Racing Sunshine Coast, but also I've got some guys in the local group up here that ride them. They rave about them all the time. A member of the Road Cycling Academy's up-level road cycling course has 3 pairs. He's going on about them all the time, and people that have prompted me to review them actually own them and have suggested how much they love the wheels and they'd love to see a review on them. So the feedback, all in all, has been really positive. In fact, I haven't heard one bit of negative feedback. Hopefully there's none. We've got the comment section below if anyone's got any experiences they'd like to share, positive or negative, but to date, it's all been really positive. Point number 3 is they are great value for money. So this is obviously regarding pricing, and I didn't look at this until just recently, and it kind of shocked me because originally I looked at the design and the engineering side, which we're going to get to, and then I looked at pricing, and I kind of thought this doesn't really match up when you compare comparable brands. So for example, let's look at the equivalent in the 50mm range, and we have the Rovell CLX 50s at roughly 3,400 AUD and the new giant Cadex wheels at 4,200. Yet the Caden equivalents, which come in at 49mm, are around $2,000. Why 49mm and not 50, I hear you ask? Well, that is to prove to people, the 49, that they're using their own custom molds for their wheels. And that price point, it is such a more acceptable price point for a set of carbon hoops. And it got me thinking maybe I should invest in a set of carbon clincher wheels because I'm actually on the market, which we'll get to in a second. Point number 4 is the engineering and design. So after going down a Caden YouTube rabbit hole, reading their website and also speaking to Ben a number of times, It got me really leaning in to their engineering practices and how much time, effort, and energy they put into this. Some notable aspects when it comes to design and engineering practices are as follows. The carbon fibre used is mid-modulus Toray T700 carbon fibre, and the braking surface has been developed with such confidence that you can use any carbon brake pads on the wheels. And if an issue arises with the wheels, you'll still have it covered under their comprehensive 3-year warranty, which I can't say the same for many other carbon wheel brands. Oh, I thought you were closer. Fuck, hot. So I've just taken the Caden wheel off. We've got the Envy wheel over there now. So another design feature is they have a 2-to-1 spoke pattern ratio, which essentially what that means is there is more spokes on this side to accommodate the imbalance you get from less bracing angle here. You can see there's less bracing angle on this side to accommodate for the cassette. So we've got 7 spokes over here and 14 spokes over here. And interestingly, this design creates a stiffer wheel as it better distributes tension through the spokes to the rim, mitigating brake rubbing on one side and also cracking in the nipple area as time goes on. Interestingly, this 2-to-1 spoke ratio isn't implemented by all wheel manufacturing brands, but it is implemented by some of the best, including Fulcrum and Campy. They're 2 of my favorite wheel brands. And also about 4 years ago, Rovel and Shimano all of a sudden decided to go with a 2-to-1 ratio as well. And the other thing worth mentioning on these wheels is nipple patching, which essentially means that this section of the rim here has less carbon fibre and they create more carbon fibre around the nipple to best manage, obviously, the tension and pressure that comes through the spoke. And this process is not an easy one. It requires a bespoke X-ray machine and a more arduous manufacturing process, and thus is also not implemented by many other wheel brands, but gives Caden a competitive advantage with many wheels when it comes to weight savings. And on weight, these wheels are claimed to be 1,080 grams. That's out of the box, completely bare, and with tubes, tyres, skewers, and a rear cassette, which is an Ultegra 1128. You can see what we have here. Number 5 is the story behind the brand. So I really like the story behind the Caden wheels. They're kind of at this point in their journey where they're not big enough to be solely focused on financial gain, and they're not small enough to not be able to create awesome wheels at scale at a really competitive price. And after doing my research and after speaking with Ben and investigating more into his personal story, you can tell he's super passionate about these wheels. His background before wheel building was in composites, working on boats, wakeboards, surfboards, etc. And it was around 2010 where he was starting to make wheels because he was into triathlon and his mates wanted to use the same wheels, so he was making wheels for his mates, and then all of a sudden he realised he could turn it into a business. And 10 years later, he's making these pretty epic wheels, and if you go to his YouTube channel, you will see for yourself. He's super passionate about what he does, and I really dig that, perhaps above all else. So with those 5 things combined, and myself being on the market for a set of carbon clinchers at the moment, I've decided, full disclaimer, I'm paying for the wheels. I'm going to be buying a set of Caden wheels myself. It's very rare that I review a product and then buy it, but the reason being with Caden, it's pretty rare these days you find a really good quality product at a really reasonable price. And with Caden wheels, I'm certainly of the strong belief, after dedicating a lot of my time to writing and researching, that these tick both boxes. So let's get into the rest of the video.
All right, so as you can see, I'm in a hotel room in the Gold Coast in Australia, and it is actually Friday, the day of publishing this video, and I'm here because I'm competing in the men's Masters Nationals titles. And as you can see here, I did the crit yesterday, which became a race for 2nd and 3rd because a guy by the name of, I think I've said this right, Charles Van Wyck, attacked solo with 10 minutes in and stayed away. Unbelievable effort, mate. If you're watching, you deserve the win big time. And you can see me here trying to have a go in the last lap, trying to hold the wheel of this bloke in white, but just trying to hold his wheel cooked me before the finish line, and the remnants of the bunch went flying past me. I've got the road race tomorrow, and look, I haven't mentioned this on the channel because it hasn't really been a focus. Decided maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago to come down and get involved. I thought it would be rude not to. It's about 2.5 hour drive from where I live. So not expecting much tomorrow, but looking forward to getting involved. And as you can see, it's absolutely pissing down with rain out there. So tomorrow it's going to be even worse. It's going to be thunderstorming. So that'll be interesting. Also wanted to mention that during the week, my dog Rossi, he turned 77 in dog years, and my beautiful Holly girl, she turned 10. Here's what she had to say. What about you, Holly? Turning 10 today. Big girl, how do you feel?
Good.
Do you feel older?
Me now. No. Me now.
No, it's not your birthday.
You don't feel older, you are older.
That's true. I always forget to mention this as well. I just want to thank everyone for clicking my vids and supporting my work. Also, a special shout out to my channel members who support me financially. And lastly, I've finally given in to all the comments and noise that I've received over the past couple of years. I've invested into buying a bike from China, and I'm going to build this thing up, and I'm going to review it after using it for probably say 2 to 3 months and compare it to all the mainstream bikes I've had the opportunity of riding over the past couple of years. But unfortunately, we're not off to a good start. I'm pretty disappointed to have received the frame in a mangled box. Yes, I know it's not the fault of the manufacturing company, it's the courier company, but we're not off to a good start. Although I'm pretty sure things will improve from here. I'll catch you all in the next video.